Hello students, this is your economics teacher INR. I hope you are well and utilizing the time wisely.
In the previous class, you learned about gains from international trade, terms of trade and balance of payment versus balance of trade. Today, you are going to learn about exchange rate, foreign direct investment and trade. Student, watch this video very carefully till the end. Fine. Let us enter into the topics. First, we will discuss exchange rate. Student, take the page number 141. Exchange rate. Meaning of foreign exchange, forex. Foreign exchange refers to the foreign currencies. The mechanism through which payments are effected between two countries having different currency system is called foreign exchange system. It covers methods of payments, rules and regulations of payments and the institution facilitating such payments. Definition of Forex. Forex is the system or process of converting one national currency into another and of transferring money from one currency to another. In short, Forex is the trading of one currency for another. For example, one can swap the US dollar for the euro. Foreign exchange transaction can take place on the foreign exchange market. Rate of exchange. The transaction in the exchange market are carried out at exchange rate. It is the external value of domestic currency. Thus, exchange rate may be defined as the price paid in the home currency, say rupees 75, for a unit of foreign currency, say 1 US dollar. It can be quoted into two ways. First, 1 unit of foreign money, 1 US dollar to so many units of the domestic currency, that is rupees. Or second, a certain number of unit of foreign currency US dollar to 1 unit of domestic currency rupees money. For instance, 1 US dollar is equal to 73.63 rupees. 1 rupees is equal to 0.014 US dollar in the time of 8th December 2020. Definition of equilibrium exchange rate. The equilibrium exchange rate is that rate which over a certain period of time keeps the balance of payments in equilibrium. This definition was given by Ragnar Narkis. Next, determinations of equilibrium exchange rate. The equilibrium rate of exchange is determined in the foreign exchange market in accordance with the general theory of value, that is, by the interaction of the forces of demand and supply. Thus, the rate of exchange is determined at the point where demand for forex is equal to the supply of forex. In the above diagram, y-axis represents exchange rate, that is value of rupee in terms of dollar. X-axis represents demand and supply of foreign exchanges. E is the point of equilibrium where DD intersect SS. The exchange rate is P2. Next, types of exchange rate system. Broadly, there are two major exchange rate system, namely first, fixed exchange rate system and flexible exchange rate system. Managed floating exchange rate system also prevails in some countries like in India. First, fixed exchange rate system. Countries following the fixed exchange rate system agree to keep their currencies at a fixed rate as determined by the government. Under the gold standard, the value of currencies was fixed in terms of gold. Second, flexible exchange rate. Under the flexible exchange rate system, exchange rate are freely determined in an open market by market forces of demand and supply. Types of exchange rates. Exchange rate are also in the form of nominal exchange rate, real exchange rate, nominal effective exchange rate and real effective exchange rate. If 1 US dollar is equal to rupees 73.63, nominal exchange rate is equal to 73.63 by 1 is equal to 73.63. This is the bilateral nominal exchange rate. Real exchange rate is equal to EPF by P. P is equal to price level in India. PF is equal to price level in abroad, say US dollar. E is equal to nominal exchange rate. If a pen cost rupees 50 in India and it cost 5 US dollar in US, real exchange rate is equal to 75 into 5 by 50 is equal to 7.5. If real exchange rate is equal to 1, the currencies are at purchasing power parity. If the price of pen in US is 0.66 US dollar, then the real exchange rate is equal to 0.66 into 75 divided by 50 US dollar. Then it could be said that the US dollar and the Indian rupee are at purchasing power parity. Next, nominal effective exchange rate. The nominal effective exchange rate is an unadjusted weighted average rate at which one country currencies exchanges for a basket of multiple foreign currencies. In economics, the nominal effective exchange rate is an indicator of a country's international competitiveness in terms of the foreign exchanges or foreign exchange market. Next, real effective exchange rate. The real effective exchange rate is the weighted average of a country currency in relation to an index or basket of other major currencies. This exchange rate is used to determine an individual country's currency value relative to the other major currencies in the index. Next, determinations of exchange rate. The exchange rate are determined by numerous factors and they are related to the trading relationship between two countries. First, differential in inflation, differential in interest rate, current account deficit, public debt, terms of trade, political and economic stability, rations, then speculation. First, differential in inflation. Inflation and exchange rate are inversely related. A country with a consistently lower inflation rate exhibits a rising currency value as its purchasing power increases relative to other currencies. Second, differentials in interest rate. There is a high degree of correction between interest rate, inflation and exchange rate. Central banks can influence over both inflation and exchange rate by manipulating interest rates. Higher interest rate attract foreign capital and cause the exchange rate to rise and vice versa. Third, current account deficits. A deficit in the current account implies excess of payments over receipt. The country resorts to borrowing capital from foreign sources to make up the deficit. Excess demand for foreign currency lowers a country's exchange rate. Fourth, public debt. Large public debts are driving out foreign investors because it leads to inflation. As a result, exchange rate will be lower. Fifth, terms of trade. A country's terms of trade also determine the exchange rate. If the price of a country's export rise by a greater rate than of its imports, its terms of trade will improve. Favorable terms of trade imply greater demand for the country's exports and thus balance of payments become favorable. Sixth, political and economical stability. If a nation's political climate is stable and economic performance is good, its currency value will be appreciated by attracting more foreign capital. Seventh, rations. Interest rates are low during the ration pause. This will decrease inflow of foreign capital. As a result, a currency will be depreciated against other currencies, thereby lowering the exchange rate. Last one, speculation. If a country's currency value is expected to rise, investor will demand more of that currency in order to make a profit in that near future. This result in appreciations of the exchange rate. Besides the above determinants, relative dominance in the global politics and the power to announce economic sanctions over other countries also determined exchange rates. Last, we will discuss foreign direct investment and trade. Foreign direct investment is an important factor in global economy. Foreign trade and foreign direct investment are closely related. In developing countries like India, foreign direct investment in the natural resources sectors, including plantations, increases trade volume. Foreign production by foreign direct investment is useful to substitute foreign trade. Foreign direct investment is also influenced by the income generated from the trade and regional integration schemes. Foreign direct investment is helpful to accelerate the economic growth by facilitating essential imports needed for carrying out development programs like capital goods, technical know-how, raw materials and other inputs and even scarce consumer goods. When the export earnings of a country are not sufficient to finance for imports, foreign direct investment may be required to fill the trade gap. Foreign direct investment is encouraged by the factors such as foreign exchange shortage, desire to create employment, and the accelerations of the pace of economic development. Many developing countries strongly prefer foreign investment to imports. However, the real impact of foreign direct investment on different sections of the economy, say India, may differ. Foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment means an investment in a foreign country that involves some degree of control and participation in management. It corresponds to the investment made by the multinational enterprises in a foreign country. It is different from portfolio investment, which is primarily motivated by short-term profit and it does not seek management control. Objectives of foreign direct investment. First objectives, sales expansion. Second, acquisition of resources. Third, diversification. Fourth, minimizing of competitive task. Advantages of foreign direct investment. The important advantages of foreign direct investment are as following. First, foreign direct investment may help to increase the investment level and thereby the income and employment in the host country. Second, foreign direct investment may facilitate transfer of technology to the recipient countries. Third, foreign direct investment may also bring revenue to the government of host country when it taxes profits of foreign firms or gets royalties from concession agreements. Fourth, a part of profit from direct foreign investment may be plugged back into the expansion, modernization, or development of relative industries. Fifth, it may be kindle a managerial revolutions in the recipient country throughout professional management and sophisticated management techniques. Sixth, foreign capital may enable the country to increase its export and reduce import requirements and thereby ease the balance of payments disequilibrium. Seventh, foreign direct investment may also help increase competition and break domestic monopolies. Disadvantages of foreign direct investment. The following criticism are leveled against foreign direct investment. First, private foreign capital tends to flow to the high profit areas rather than to the priority sectors. Second, the technologies brought in by the foreign investors may not be appropriate to the consumption needs, size of the domestic market, resource availabilities, stage of development of the economy, etc. Third, foreign investment sometimes have unfavorable effect on the balance of payments of a country because when the trains of foreign exchange by way of royalty, dividend, etc. is more than the investment made by the foreign concerns. Fourth, foreign capital sometimes interferes in the national politics. Fifth, foreign investors sometimes engage in unfair and unethical trade practices. Sixth, foreign investment in some cases leads to the destruction or weakening of small and medium enterprises. Seventh, sometimes foreign investment can result in the dangerous situations of minimizing or eliminating competitions and the creations of monopolies or oligopolistic structure. Eighth, often there are several costs associated with encouraging foreign investment. Foreign direct investment in India. The yearly 1991 witnessed reforms in the economic policy. This helped to open up Indian markets to foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment in India has increased over the years. In India, foreign direct investment has been advantages in terms of free flow of capital, improved technology, management expertise, and access to international markets. The major sectors benefited from foreign direct investment in India are financial sectors, second, insurance, third, telecommunication, fourth, hospitality and tourism, fifth, pharmaceuticals, and sixth, software and information technology. Foreign direct investment is not permitted in the industrial sectors like first, arms and ammunitions, atomic energy, third, railways, fourth, coal and lignite, and fifth, minings of iron, manganese, gypsum, sulfur, gold, diamonds, copper, etc. Foreign direct investment inflow in India has increased from $97 million in 1990 up to 91, $5,535 million in 2004 up to 2005. It amounted to $32,955 million in 2011 up to 2012. UNCTAD, that is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, World Investment Report in 2018 reveals that foreign direct investment to India declined to $40 billion in 2017 from $44 billion in 2016. That's all for today. We will continue in the next class. Freeze the assignment by clicking the link below.
You